Walk me through this logic, because you're the first and only person who I have met who has moved to Pakistan to build and scale a business without having any family association of this place.
If you put it like that, you just make me sound insane. But
I mean, we all,
I don't know how to answer that question. But look, I mean, career-wise, I think a lot of people have that trajectory. So I don't think that part is special.
But I had family. So I made that move. A bunch of us made the move that are with you in Shark Tank.
Yeah.
But we all had family here as anchors that kind of pulled us back in.
Yeah.
But you didn't have that anchor. This was a choice made by you voluntarily, and you weren't even married at the time.
No, for 2.5 years.
So you as a single woman gave up VC globally to move to Pakistan to start a business. That logic you need to break down to me.
Okay, well, I think let's just step back a little bit. Like when I was at Ventura, which is the VC fund I was working in, or like if you speak to any banker, or ex-banking, I think after 6 years, you kind of realize this long hours. At least for me, I did have an existential crisis where I was kind of like, what am I doing? Is it just money? I feel like Zindagi mein people are actually looking for purpose, maqsad. Like I felt very lost as a person because I was just kind of doing things that I felt like didn't have an impact on people or have any meaning, real meaning. And I was like, also, when you're in these firms, you look up at your seniors, right? So like not any of the specific companies I worked at, I'm not talking about them, but I'm just saying, for example, you look up at the partners and you look at their lives, their personal lives, right? And I'm not going to name any people, but the females there, there was like, in the next firm I worked at, there was 3 females who were at senior levels. And one of them was divorced. The other one had 2 kids, was single, and had a partner, but was not married. And the third one had been single her entire life, right? And I believe you can't attain anything without sacrificing something. So when I saw that level, I was like, is this what I'm going to have to sacrifice to get here? So then you start questioning or asking yourself, is it worth it? And for me, it frankly wasn't. And also what I was doing, I'm not like so passionate about. And I think it's important to note which business I've come back to do in Pakistan. It's not any business. If it was any business, I may not have been incentivized to do it, but I feel very strongly about the education sector because even sitting in London, I would hear stories about, women getting gang type situations where they're assaulted, crowd hurting in parks. I'm like, is this the country that I come from? And for me, I know education is not the solution to everything, but I think there needs to be a basic standard of education or adult literacy level that is encouraged or emphasized in our country for us to make a difference. So long-winded answer, but I think I didn't feel like what I was doing had an impact or purpose in my, lacked purpose. I felt Pakistan needed some sort of impetus in the education sector. And third, I feel like I was privileged enough in a privileged enough situation to be able to go back and make that difference and choose a life of impact, if I can or if I could.
But you weren't born in Pakistan.
I wasn't. I was born in New York.
So you're not technically a Pakistani by
I'm
birth.
Pakistani. Why? Just because I didn't live in... This is the other thing I get really frustrated about. जब पाकिस्तानी इधर रह रहे होते वो कहते हैं अब तो पाकिस्तानी है नहीं क्यों? Just because I haven't lived here, I'm not Pakistani. I have a Pakistani passport.
No, I understand.
My parents are Pakistani.
So your parents are Pakistani.
Actually, I think expat Pakistanis are more patriotic about this country than local Pakistanis
because
are.
Because they see the bright side of it. We live through the daily life of it.
Well, now I live through it too. No, I'm living here too now.
No, so this is a question I have because we say this a lot about the ABCDs, right? American born confused daisies. Like this is a term I picked up in college. That's what we do. We are at FOBs. They're the ABCDs, fresh off the boats and the ABCDs.